And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Wednesday. It's June 18th, 2025. Tomorrow is Juneteenth, June 19th. Right up front, the market's closed. Yay. As usual, I'll be on a flight tonight up to the Northeast to see the dad. And do some Fox News studio appearances. But I want to get right down to it. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We will do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, Iran, tariffs, Doge, debt, deficits, scams, shams, corruption, you name it, we cover it. Today on the show, we will do stable coins. What the hell is that? I'm trying to figure it out. We'll talk Iran because I think something's going to happen. And I got a few little statistics for you. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And, of course, if you'd like to email us, just be nice. It's pretty simple. Just be nice. Okay. In no particular order. The markets. Not a lot of movement. It tried to rally, tried to drop. Dow was down 44, S&P was down 2, NASDAQ up 25, NASDAQ 100 was flat. Transports 36 to the upside. Strength today, banks, financials, stable coin stuff. I'll try to explain it. And then there's the opposite of the stable coin stuff was trashed. I'll try to explain that. And much more. Where do I want to go from here first? Markets and Iran. Iran and markets. Let me tell you what I think. And I know, Gary, you're going to give an opinion in Iran. You don't know anything about it. You're not military. You're not in the White House. Hey, we can still give an opinion. My guess is that tomorrow we are going to do some offensive work when it comes to Iran. That's my guess. At least that's how I've been reading it. The president, I think, has really telegraphed it. And I must tell you, if he doesn't at this juncture, he kind of looks like he's bailed. What do I mean by that? He's actually come out and said to the head mullahs, you are going to surrender. You had better surrender. And the mullahs came out and said, up yours. So how do you back away? Do you think the president's put himself in a corner? That's not a unfair question. Well, what would that mean to markets on Friday? All I can tell you, listen carefully, is that if you go backwards to Desert Storm and others, the market's done okay. I think there's a thing about patriotism that makes the market okay. We'll see. Anyway, that's a guess. I think it's a good educated guess. I guess we'll know tomorrow. We'll let you decide whether you think that's right or wrong. The hope is those clowns in Iran are gone. And their nukes, if they have or getting close, splat. Next. Well, the Fed was today. They didn't do anything. Jay Powell, as you know, I have told you, me being the biggest critic of the man, have been saying lately, I'm happy with what he's doing, which is nothing. And that's in spite of the president. The president called him an idiot today. And as you know, we don't like that. We want our president to be presidential. Some would argue that, but I'm sorry. Just my opinion. We think the president has it wrong. And due to the fact we have nailed this whole Fed thing for a long time, he should probably listen to me, but he won't. The fact is, well, no, it's not a fact. Jay Powell's at 4.25% on his little Fed funds, and we tell you, you want to know what Fed funds is? Go Google it. But simply, the easy way to say it is it's the rate that banks lend and charge and give to each other and all that crap. The president said today that if he'd lower a point on the Fed funds, oh my goodness gracious, it's going to save us hundreds of billions of dollars. Well, he's wrong. Just like he's wrong when he says tariffs are paid by China, he's wrong. Unless our country floats debt on 3 months and 6 months and 1 year treasuries, which they don't, even though Yellen did, because she doesn't care about you. We mostly float 5-year, 10-year, 30-year bonds. And guess what that is? That's the free market. And the 10-year yield's at 4.4 right now. He's at 4.25, so he's actually under the market. Can he cut rates? Sure. But Trump wants a whole point. Here's the problem with that. It'll goose the markets. It'll recreate inflation again. And then it will feed on itself. As inflation shows up, people will sell off bonds. And interest rates will go higher. And then the economy suffers. So I believe the president has it completely wrong. The last time the Fed cut rates from 5.25 to 4.25, the 10-year yield went from 3.7 to 4.5. Actually got to 4.8. And what matters more? Well, on a scale of 1 to 100, the Fed is about a 10. The free market is 100. Your mortgage rates are based on your 10-year yield. A lot of your loans, 10-year yield, not the Fed funds. So I don't know what the hell the president's talking about. And I am amazed somebody hasn't gotten his ear and said, dude, stop. And the same goes for his crap on tariffs. Now, you think I have Trump derangement syndrome. Let me, you know I don't, right? We're going to applaud him now. In the month of May of last year, 62,000 illegals came across the border. Do you know how many came across in the month of May 2025 under Trump? As John Vernon said at Animal House, 0.0. Magnificent. What a fantastic job President Trump has done on the border, and total down 93%. Magnificent. And by the way, it tells you what kind of a clown Biden was and a lying sack he was. I can't do anything about the border. I need Congress. You lying sack. 4 years of a lying sack. And by the way, Biden woke up 6 months before the election when his polls on immigration were worse than jock itch. He was deporting people. I didn't see any protests. Anyway, kudos to the president, President Trump, on the border. He's saving lives. He's saving lives by doing what he did on the border, because people were dying in trucks and drowning. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it, get back to the markets, lots more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So kudos to the president on the border. And I've always said throughout the years to all of you, I've never understood why this country would allow so many to come in illegally. And that is the word. The main reason for me is you're telling all the people that came here legally, suckers. Think about that. I have very close friends. I consider them family. They are family that came here legally. They went through time, sweat, toil, dollars, tears, and finally became citizens. And they have watched how people cross the border illegally and then get taken care of by the taxpayer. It is backwards ass. Our country has been backwards ass on the border forever. And you're kicking in the teeth the people that did it the right way. So great to see. Great to see. Now, we told you so that the president on his deportations would not last. That was a gimme, and I took a lot of flack on that. And for those of you that are deportation lovers, I gather you're pissed at the president now, but he has no choice. They figured out that restaurants have waiters and waitresses and busboys that may not be here legally. Farmers have workers that may not be here legally. Hotels have maids and workers that may not be here legally. So guess what they figured out at the White House? We cannot do these gang deportations. But yesterday he came out and said, we're still doing it. Guess what I don't believe? They're not going to be doing it. He came out to assuage his peeps. But I'm letting you know, and I am 100% sure, they are going to cut down on the deportations. They have no choice. They are hearing it left and right from a lot of industry. By the way, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, delivery people, construction. So just letting you know, that's going to happen. Mr. Logic says so. And then there's MasterCard and Visa, the markets. Dang. So the other day, MasterCard, what day was that? That was Friday. MasterCard, which closed the day before at $5.89, the next day hit a low of $5.52 and closed at $5.62. Today was down another $31 to $5.38. Visa down 17.5 today. That hit $3.72 4 days ago, closed at $3.40 today. What the hell is going on? Well, there's talk about Amazon and Walmart, who, by the way, between the two, I think they do about $1.4 trillion in sales, that they are looking to do their own corporate stable coin type thing that would knock out the MasterCards and the Visas of the world. So it got hit once, but now they hit it again today. And at the same time, Coinbase today was up $41, 16%. And a recent IPO called Circle Internet, $31 IPO, it opened at 90. It was up $51 today to 200. What? What do they do? Well, Circle Internet provides digital currencies and public blockchains for payments, commerce, and whatever through stable coins and stuff like that. What? And Coinbase, they announced something to that effect. So I have to tell you, I looked up what a stable coin is. For the life of me, I don't get it. I really don't. Coinbase announced it's introducing Coinbase payments. Of course, PayPal was also hit today also. Is a stablecoin payment stack designed for commerce platforms. Offer instant 24/7 USDC payments to your merchants. That's digital coin, I gather. Globally, securely, and without blockchain complexity, built on Base and already live with Shopify. It's the fastest way for payment service providers, marketplaces, and commerce. I'm thinking to myself, and maybe some geniuses out there that knows a lot more than me on this can email me on this. Why is this so much better than PayPal? Well, I take that back because PayPal service stinks. But why is it so much better than just credit cards? You know, gas stations have their own credit cards. Why do they need a stable coin? Doesn't a lot of retails, Macy's has their own credit card, Bloomingdale's does. What do you need a stable coin for? Why is stable coin better, and why is it the talk of the town right now? I have to tell you, I think I'm pretty smart. I don't have the answer. If any of you do have the answer and you know the industry, email me. I'd like to know, because dang, that was one hell of a move today in Coinbase and Circle Internet, while crushing two very dependable stocks throughout the years, MasterCard and Visa. American Express got hit the other day, but did not get hit today. I do not own any MasterCard and Visa as of right now, and I feel pretty damn good about it. World's, I guess, changing, ladies and gentlemen. Old is goodbye. Up next, more on markets. News of the day. This is the one only Investor's Edge. So, hey, yo. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Second Stanley Cup in a row. Canada still has not won a Stanley Cup in ages. When I lived in South Florida, I used to go to the Panther games. They got to the Stanley Cup Finals, I believe. That's when whenever they scored goals, we would throw rats onto the ice. And I still remember as they won one of the division and they were going to the finals, the headline on the Miami Herald was "Buy More Rats." Anyway, good for them. My New York Rangers, I guess I'm going to have to be satisfied with what was the last time they won the Stanley Cup in the 90s when Messier was playing? Be a chip while I'm alive. I'm hopeful on my Mets this year, but boy, oh boy, they're good at letting down at the end of the year. Oh well. Back on the Fed. So in case you don't know, I never watch the press conferences. They're a waste of time. I am not a fan of even having a central bank. I have yet to understand what they do. I believe they've done nothing but cause problems. We can go back to 06, 07. Ben Bernanke kept rates too low. He's the guy supposed to oversee the banks, and what did they do? They were lending mortgages out and the mortgage companies out to people that didn't have a dime in their pockets, which created a lot of the crazy to the upside in housing. They did not oversee Wall Street either, that was doing mortgage-backed securities with 10, 20, 30 to 1. The rating services were also complicit. There's emails from at the rating services saying that that mortgage-backed security is a piece of crap, and they use the other word. Goldman Sachs would put tranches together of mortgage-backed securities and then short them after they sold them. These are true stories. And the Fed has been hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Jay Powell created the inflation that you saw. It was not Joe Biden. Joe Biden just helped it along. Inflation started coming down when they stopped printing money. Just remember, a definition of inflation is too much money chasing too few goods, and what that was $9 trillion. He wasn't the whole 9 trillion, but he ramped it to 9 trillion. Once he started backing away, that's when inflation came down. Unfortunately, President Trump wants to go back to that again. It scares the hell out of me that Trump is going to put in next year. Excuse the way I'm going to say this. A head of the central bank that's just going to kiss Trump's arse and do whatever he wants, and that is bad news. Because any president would want an easy money policy coming from your central bank. They always said you have to be independent. That person will not be independent. And look out. Easy money will lift markets until a brick wall is hit, and then all heck breaks loose. I'm really worried about that, who he's going to put in. He's only hired loyalists, which is somewhat normal for every president, but they've put it in overdrive. I'll keep a close watch on it. Back on markets of import. We don't know how the market will react if something does happen tomorrow. And by the way, I do believe it would be tomorrow. I don't know how the market's going to react. But in real time, the S&P is just trading nicely and tightly with a little bit of distribution the last few weeks. In fact, it is flat 1, 2, 3, last 4 weeks. And that's just fine. No problem. The NASDAQ, a little bit better than flat, but with a little distribution. And what that means, you've had some down days with heavy volume as of recent. Haven't seen a lot of breakdowns. That's good news. If I start to see a bunch of breakdowns, we'll be talking. But I really don't know how we are going to react. But in the past, we've reacted well. I like the fact that the big banks had a good day today. Bank of New York to a new high. Goldman, relative high. JP Morgan above a little range. This is good to see. The semis, overall, we're up again today with some warts. And I can all but promise you, if the financials, if the semis are acting just okay, there's no chance of a bear market. There are areas to avoid. We have told you which ones they are. We'll stick with that until that changes. A big matzo ball now to be watched is oil prices. They've really gone up markedly in the last 2 to 3 weeks. In fact, oil prices are up about 15% in about 8 days. If that sticks, you're going to be paying a lot higher price at the pump in about a week. Just remember, they raise them quicker, then they lower them. So that is a definitive wild card on what we do and how we do it. I worry that I don't understand some of the things the president tweets when he should shut up. He's now backed himself in a corner. Surrender or else, he basically stated. They came back and said, go screw. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? So we'll see. Maybe we come back on Friday and they do nothing. Don't know. You know my guess. Next up. Have you been reading what some of these food companies are going to be doing now? Are they telling us that they've been putting a lot of crap in our food for years? Because they're just backing away from a lot of food coloring and this chemical and that chemical. We're hearing these things that cereal in Canada does not have a bunch of these chemicals, but they put it in our cereals here in the United States. I mean, just what the hell has been going on? I'm no Robert Kennedy fan at all, because he lies too much, especially on the vaccines. But man, oh man, he's getting some things done. And I'm reading up on some of these chemicals that are coming out of our food. And I'm thinking to myself, do these food companies hate us? Are they now telling us all those chemicals suck? And they shouldn't have been there even though we've been ingesting them forever? By the way, food stocks are not acting very well right now. Just letting you know. And by the way, I did a little read on our bottled water companies. They're no sweethearts either. What is going on out there? Up next, other news of the day. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Ba-da-da. By the way, I meant that if some of you understand this stable coin crap and why it's the next big thing or great thing, please email me. I'm going to do my own on the airplane going up to the Northeast tonight. I'll spend some time on it, but I started reading already, and for the life of me, I guess a stable coin represents money for each company. It's weird. All I can tell you, Coinbase and Circle Internet, Sword and MasterCard and Visa, they took out a machete and cut them off at the knees. And then I was thinking also, but wait a minute, the banks are up. Shouldn't the banks get hit also? I got a lot of things to study up, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, there's a lot of things. I told you yesterday we're going to do a big time on artificial intelligence. We got our ears got pinned back yesterday when we were reading about what the Amazon CEO had to say. And I just wonder, is AI all that it's cracked up to be? They're telling us that there's going to be a lot of jobs lost, but a lot of jobs gained because of AI. So you better start learning it, I think. I've never really used it. I'm being told, forget Google, got to do Chat GPT. I'm so used to Google. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All I know, when I started in this business, I had a little quote rec. My charts were blue and green books from William O'Neill, delivered every Sunday. I used to take out a pencil and fill them in every day. I mean, we have come very, very far. I still remember mid-90s. It was the mid-90s. Margot Vuicic walks into my office at J.W. Charles Securities and says, just letting you know, we're going to be setting you up with inter-office email. And I said, what's that? Oh, you're going to be able to email me directly and back and forth. And I'm like, why can't I just come into your office? I had no idea what the email would do. And then with the internet, there were so many doubts about it. And I still remember, I've said this before, when I was a kid, you know what my Google was? The Encyclopedia Britannica, 1 year old. Hey, look up Abraham Lincoln. What do you get, about 2 pages in the Encyclopedia Britannica? Now, anything. Amazing. Our kids don't know how good they have it when it comes to educating themselves. That's why when I see some of these teens and young people holding up Hamas lovers and hating of Israel, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. All they got to do is look things up, but they don't, because they don't want to. They just fall in line with hate. It's pretty much sickening. Also in the news, I got to tell you, I've told you this before, I love the Food Channel. I watch Beat Bobby Flay, Chopped, Iron Chef, you name it. One of my favorites, a woman named Ann Burrell, just died in her sleep at 55 years old. She was one of the stars of the Food Channel, hosted her own show. 55. 55. Enjoy every day, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know. You just don't know. I was thinking about that all day today. You just don't know. Yesterday, we're moving on. I said to you there's no chance of recession or a big contraction in the economy at this juncture because the market says so. I caught some crap from people. That's cool. I'm going to repeat it. I've never ever seen a down economy that did not start with the market going bearish. I'm letting you know again. Right now, we're getting a lot of real-time moves because we have the most news-driven market. But the normality is the markets will be able to telegraph big economic trouble few months in advance. And typically, by the time we're in a recession or a contraction, we're already halfway or even more through the bear market. And I'm just letting you know there is zero chance, if banks are acting well, if semiconductors are acting well. Now, not all is perfect. The housing stocks, horrible. The housing business, not very good. Earnings way down yesterday for Lennar. Sales were even down. But I'm just letting you know again. And I'm always amazed about people predicting doom instead of listening to the market. It shouldn't be too tough. The market has great eyes and a voice. You should listen. Tomorrow will be the best of Gary. We'll be back Friday, and we'll see if anything goes on tomorrow. Should be interesting. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully when you get home. Do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise they will. Be well. Peace out, all. Good night.